Good evening, and thank you everyone for being here. It's so nice to be able to share our stories, and I really echo what Eric said. As a Korean adoptee, it's so special for us to feel embraced by the Korean community. We didn't know where we came from, but we really appreciate everyone's support. The worst moment of my life came when I was 10 years old. My little sister was gone. My little sister who was adopted from Korea after me and after my brother. My little sister who called me mom. That day had started normally, church and family luncheon at my Italian grandmother's house, with the smell of the red sauce simmering on the stove, cradling meatballs, sausages, and the neck bones my uncles would playfully fight over. There were piles of spaghetti and sesame-studded semolina bread from Calandra's bakery. This is the food I grew up with. My childhood summers were spent at Korean culture camp, where we dared each other to try kimchi, folded floury dumpling wrappers into mandu, tried to learn the fan dance and taekwondo and brush paint our names. But I couldn't speak Korean like the teachers, their voices and tones winding up and down in unfamiliar ways. And I couldn't make myself look like the beautiful dancers, with their kohl-rimmed eyes and jet black hair twisted and coiled to frame their soft, smiling faces. I wore my hanbok shyly, but it felt stiff, uncomfortable, restrictive, and I wondered why this was supposed to define me. As with so many moments in life, we lost my sister in an instant. My mother, my adoptive mother, my real mother, turned to put her sweater on, but she was gone. She was only 2, but already walking. I didn't know what it felt like to be drunk or have your life flash before your eyes or any of the other cliched reality-bending, mind-spinning moments. But at that moment, all of the life went out of me, and a sudden cold crept in. The sights and sounds of the mall faded away until I felt blind and deaf and numb, paralyzed even as I spun about looking in every direction but seeing nothing, nothing that was her. The first time I lost someone, it was Krista, my goldfish. When I found her, she had stopped swimming and floated to the top of the bowl. I sobbed and threw myself face down onto the mustard yellow carpet, giving myself a nosebleed. And then there was Rascal, a yellow and brown stuffed puppy who I lost at Sears one night while my father was looking for snow tires. I didn't know if he was hungry or cold or where he was going to sleep or if he needed me. How could anyone give away a child? And if that child was lost, how could you ever stop looking? My own recorded history starts the day I turned 10 months old. An elderly couple brings me to Angela Orphanage saying they found me on their doorstep. My parents always told me, your birth mother loved you so much that she gave you away to have a better life. I took this as gospel just as I did religion and Santa Claus and the tooth fairy, never something palpable and real. One night when I lose a tooth, my mother makes a stamp out of a potato and stamps tiny tooth fairy footprints onto my bed sheets. Instead of being delighted, I'm horrified. Somehow this fantastical being has become real. Somehow, sorry. Sorry. Has she come to take me away? Will my birth mother come and take me back too? I'd eat my cereal in the morning and stare into the eyes of the lost children on the milk carton, wondering what had become of them. Later, I find out that the couple who had brought me to the orphanage might be my relatives, not strangers who had found a baby. So had my birth mother really given me away, or had they taken me from her? Suddenly, everything I thought I've known falls away and feels as lost as I was. The first Korean movie I ever saw was Sympathy for Lady Vengeance, the most dreadfully violent, vengeful, redemptive story I'd ever seen. The main character is put in prison for something she doesn't do, and her daughter Jenny is given away for adoption. When she finds her years later, she tells her, "I knew that anyone would be happy to have you. Anyone would be able to love you. My sins are too great and too deep to take care of such a sweet child like you." And Jenny tells her, it's not enough to say she's sorry once. She has to say she's sorry 3 times. And she does. It was the first time I thought that my birth mother perhaps did not give me away because she loved me. Maybe she didn't give me away because she hated me. Maybe she had no other choice. She can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, Korea Adoption Services, the 23andMe and GED-matched DNA sites, Blogger, WordPress, and Squarespace. But is she even looking for me? Is anyone? In 2008, I reunited with my foster mother who had taken care of me between the orphanage and being adopted. The door to the small room at the agency opened, and I saw the same kind face from the files that I had. She cries and tells the translator that I still have my baby face, asks if I'll be okay flying on the plane all by myself. She feeds me Korean barbecue and makes sure that I eat a lot. We hold hands, and she tells me that when my plane took off for America, she held my blanket and cried, that she'd wanted to keep me but couldn't afford to, that she couldn't handle taking care of another child after me. I'd never thought that anyone from Korea remembered me, cared about me, missed me. I wonder if she's my birth mother but doesn't want to tell me. I wonder if she's ashamed. We find my little sister just minutes, very long minutes after she'd been lost. She comes walking back, smiling, toddling along, no fear at all, and I run to her in a flurry, angry, demanding to know where she's been, and she starts to cry. And my mother tells me not to be angry and not to worry about what had happened, but just to be glad that she was back with us. And I was. Thank you.